I wanted to address in depth this idea that there's nothing you can do to wake up. First, we have to define what we mean by waking up, right? So, waking up from the daydreaming mind, what I call the movie in the mind. Yes, you can surely do something about that. And in fact, there's lots you can do. We can come to recognize that unconsciousness is an experience. Unconsciousness is living in the mind. To be lost in the mind is to be not knowing the difference between the mind and what's real. I've worked with the most suicidal sufferers, and they all share this thing in common. They don't know how to leave the mind alone because they don't know the difference between the mind and the real. And what's been stored in their mind are terrible things. And so they live in the terror in the mind, even though it's unreal. And they don't know that this is happening, nor that it's unreal. That's trademark. I'll often hear things like, I don't know what you mean, or I don't get how what's in the mind is not real. They really think it's real. And that's what being unconscious is. It means to be not knowing. They have to have some realizations to begin to ground themselves, some recognitions. The difference, for example, between the mind and the real. Beyond discovering and recognizing the experience of unconsciousness, you can also discover and use the 5 powers you possess to wake up from dreaming. You can develop your powers to stay out of suffering with effort until it becomes effortless. You can become unconscious and dreaming even if you're not suffering terrible things in the mind. The contents of your mind may not be that bad, and they can even be good and they feel good. But because you're still dreaming, it has the potential to go bad again and into the suffering spiral I'll talk about in another video. Back to waking up. Waking up to the truth of yourself is known as self realization. This is where we need to define the you we are talking about who does the waking up. Waking up from the illusion of being the character in your dream movie in the mind. This is waking up from the dream of being a separate individual, tiny, at risk in a great big scary world. This there is nothing I can do idea is really the lazy or scary dream in the mind that waking up won't happen to me, or not in this lifetime, or it will happen anyway in some lifetime, and I have no control, so why bother? Self realization is not an accident. I'm going to say that again. Self realization is not an accident. By its very name, it's something you do, self realize. But it does take the right conditions in order for it to come about, in order for it to even happen. Watch for another video later on what those conditions are. The egoic idea of yourself loves this idea that there's nothing I can do because it means I don't have to do anything. I don't have to doubt anything. I don't have to question anything. I don't have to get real. I can keep my little fantasies about someone or something else coming to save me. Good news and bad news. Nobody is coming to save you. You got yourself into this mess. You have to get yourself out. That's actually good news because you don't have to wait, right? And you don't have to depend on anything or anybody. But this, I gonna wait for somebody else to save me and I can't do anything about it really means I don't have to give up anything of me either. I get to keep me, right? But this you is not a great prize. That's why you're seeking. You're not even the consolation prize. You are the suffering experience. So it's better to surrender, to give yourself up, to trade yourself in for the truth. You might think your life is not so bad, you're fairly happy, but the impermanent nature of life will keep giving you opportunities, motivation to wake up, because you'll be faced with your own bodily mortality or those of others that you care about. And no matter how good your life situation is, you'll not be fully satisfied with anything but the full truth of you. Until then, you'll always feel like something's missing. So, in a way, this you has no choice. It is driven to find the truth, and it is your destiny, you could say. But since you are, in truth, eternal, this situation could go on for eternity. You have a priceless opportunity and a rare opportunity now to seek and find the truth. Can this you, who is not your true self, do anything to wake up? Sounds crazy, I know. The answer is yes and no. No, because it doesn't wake up. And yes, because it needs to disappear in order for you to recognize the truth about you. It is the very illusion you need to see through. As Ramana Maharshi said, the I removes the I and remains the I. Once the conditions consolidate and are right, that which you are not is fully stripped from you, leaving you to realize the truth about you and all of existence. So, not only can you do something, you must do something. You must recognize unconscious dreaming, take conscious control of the five powers you possess, wake up repeatedly again and again and again until you just return to your natural state and you stop falling asleep in the dream in the mind, thus abandoning your mental identity. The final act of you as your false self is not an action that you take to wake up, but it'll be the death as you surrender or disappear. This is ego death, or dying to who you think you are while alive. Through getting real, you must use your whole being to realize your whole being. Then in that instant, you'll know your real self, which has always been here. It's just been obscured, and that you will always be here. You know what to do until we meet again. Keep it real.